My friends, hello and welcome. We are here for another live math class video. And this is an afternoon video, which is a little bit different than an evening video, but that's okay. If you're here watching the replay, welcome. I'm so glad that you're able to watch the replay. Okay, so today we're going to focus on the Pythagorean Theorem. Okay, so that's essentially when you see a triangle. So I'm going to draw a triangle here, and we're trying to figure out what the different sides are. Okay, so here we have the A, this side is going to be the B, and then the hypotenuse is going to be our C. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to figure out what the different sides are. And there's an equation that you're going to have to memorize. Okay, so it is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And so you're definitely going to want to make sure that you memorize this equation because it is not going to be provided for you, okay? So friends, show me a little love, give me some hearts, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you are here, and then we're going to dig right into this problem, okay? Yes, I love those hearts. Thank you so much. It just makes my day. Okay, so let's make up some numbers. I am going to say that my A is, we're going to call that a 6, and we're going to call B a 2. Okay, it's not drawn to scale. Okay, so I'm going to say 6 is A. So then I'm just going to put my 6, and I'm going to put a little squared there, plus my B. Look, my B is a 2. So I'm going to put a little 2 right there, squared, equals C, which we don't know what it is, right? So we can just put a little question mark there. We're trying to figure out what C is. So I have C and then squared. So I just need to figure it out. So I have A squared, so 6 squared. Type in the chat. Tell me, what is 6 squared? What is 6 times 6? So 6 times 6 is 36 plus, what is 2 squared? Type it in the chat. 2 squared. 2 times 2 is 4, right? And now I have 36 plus 4 equals 40, right? Or C squared. So I'm just going to erase this and go C squared. Okay, so now I have to figure out what is the square root of 40. When we have something like this, I'm starting to run out of room here on my board. So when I have a number like this, I'm essentially going to just go square root of 40, and that's going to get rid of this squared at the bottom of the C. Okay, so square root 40 equals C. And let me pull up my handy calculator. I wish it was real. Can you imagine if a calculator was this big? Crazy. Okay, to figure this out, what I'm going to do is I have my square root button, and it's right here. Oh, you can't see because of the glare. So I'm going to type second, and then hit that little square root, and then type 40, and then enter. Okay, and what my answer will be is C equals 6.32. So 6.32 is my C. Okay, and we're going to do a couple more like this. But friends, it's actually going to look a little bit different when you're taking the test. They're not going to have it look like this, right? Because most of the problems that you're going to experience on the GED or the HiSET are going to be word problems. So bear with me. We're going to do a couple more like this, and then we're going to turn it into a word problem that you might see on the GED or the HiSET test. Okay, friends, while I'm erasing my board, I want you to comment and tell me, where are you coming from? Are you coming from a city within the US or a state, a town, or are you coming from overseas? So type in the chat while I'm busy erasing. And we'll start up a little bit higher here so that we have more room. All right, where are you coming from? In the chat, type where you are. Okay, this time we're going to do it the same shape, but we're going to do some different numbers here. We're going to go 6 and 10. I guess if we're going to do 6 and 10, I Better make it look a little bit more to scale. So 6 and 10. All right, 10 right here, 6 right there. Tell me, where are you coming from? Peru. Oh my goodness, that is fantastic. I've actually been to Peru. I loved Peru. I would love to go back, but you need your GED to start college in Georgia. Absolutely. Sometimes in the US, they don't accept your high school diploma. And then we've got Enrique from New York. Fantastic. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Oh, I missed Atlanta, Georgia. Fantastic. Thank you all for coming, for being here today during our live. I don't know about you, but I kind of like these lives. They're a little bit more interactive, a little bit more fun than me just talking to my camera. Okay, so we have 6 and 10. So we need to figure out what this is. But here's a little trick. This number right here, I guess I called it X. Maybe I should be more consistent and call it a C. That C is actually going to be bigger than my 6 and my 10. So if you ever calculate it and the answer is wrong, then it probably means, and the answer is smaller, then that means you did it wrong. Okay, so just know that it's always going to be bigger. All right, let's solve it together. So I have here, I want you to type in the chat. Do you remember the equation that I told you to memorize? Type it in the chat if you remember. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, you got it? Memorize that. Stick it in your brain. Okay, so it doesn't really matter which one is the A. Sometimes people say to do the smaller one as the A and then the bigger one as the B, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, so I have 6 squared plus 10 squared equals C squared. All right, so 6 squared. So type in the chat, what is 6 squared? So 6 squared is just 6 times 6, right? So I have 36 plus 10 squared. What is 10 squared? Type it in the chat. 10 times 10 is 100 equals C squared. And now I just add those two numbers up together. So 36 plus 100 is 136 equals C squared. And again, to find C and to get rid of this squared here, because we don't want that squared, we have to take the square root of 136, and that will give us C. So use your calculator, type in square root 136. And what do you get? Ah, look at this. Asawari, I don't know if I said your name right, but you got it, 11.66, 11.66. Now let's do our trick. Is 11.66 bigger than 6? Yes. Is it bigger than 10? Yes. And so that is our answer. Fantastic. We've got Sheikh Smith here from Atlanta, Georgia, but originally from Jamaica. Oh, that's fantastic. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Other people, if you're just joining us, type in the chat. Tell us where you're from. We do this every week. Have one of these lives, and it's so much fun to connect with you. But type in the chat where you're from, because it's important to know that you're not alone in this journey. I am here. I'm teaching you. I'm helping you. But then we have so many other friends here from around the United States, and looks like in this chat from around the world, that are here in the same community to help you get your GED or your HiSET. But I'm just so thankful that all of you are here. Okay, so we're going to do another one here. Let me erase this. And as I erase this, what I want you to do is let's do a fun question and say, what is your favorite pizza topping? Okay, because I'm erasing this, so tell me, what is your favorite pizza topping? Okay, nice and clean, ready to go. All right, open up my marker here. I'm going to change the shape so that it looks just a little bit different, but it's still going to be the same, okay? All right. Favorite pizza topping, ham and pepperoni. Yummy, yummy. I love it. I love it. Mine would be everything. I just love pizzas that have a little bit of meat, but lots of vegetables. My favorite types of pizza, especially homemade. Okay. Oh dear. Looks like we can't quite see my 9. Let me move my screen. Okay. So here I have 9 and 9. What do you think the next one's going to be? If you think it's 9, wrong answer. Okay. It is not going to be 9 because what did we just say? This line right here is going to be bigger, right? It's the largest number of all of them that we have here. Yes. Renata, more than 9. Absolutely. Oh, chicken with Alfredo sauce. That sounds like a yummy pizza. Okay. When we're doing Pythagorean theorem, one thing that's really important to know is it has to be a right triangle. So right here, sometimes they have a little box right there. And when there's a little box, you know that it is a 90-degree angle. This technique doesn't work for other angles, okay? So it has to be 90-degree angle. All right, so let's solve it here together. So I have my a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So a squared, we're going to call that 9 plus 9 squared equals c squared. All right, so 9 squared is what? Type in the chat, tell me what is 9 squared. 9 times 9. Here's a trick. If you don't remember your 9s, I want you to take your hands like this, okay? I'm going to do it like this. So if you number your fingers, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. You're going to put down I'm going to put down my 9th finger because I'm multiplying 9 times 9, okay? So now over here I have 8, right? So it's 81. Okay, let's do it with another one. Let's go 9 times 3. So I'm going to put down my 3rd finger. And now 9 times 3. So I have 2 over here on the left side. So it's 2 and then 7. So 27 is 9 times 9. Let's do another one. 9 times 5. Okay, so I put down my 5th finger and I have 4 over here and 5 over here. So 9 times 5 is 45. Okay, what do you think about that? Show me a little love or give me a thumbs up. Have you seen that technique before? It is so handy for memorizing your 9. So show me a little bit of love. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so 9 times 9, we just did it. You're shocked. You've never seen it before. Oh my gosh. I'm so thankful that you're here to learn that trick. Okay, and I mean, you can try it with any number between 0 and 9. Yes, please go teach your 11-year-old. Your 11-year-old needs to know that. I don't know why your 11-year-old teacher didn't teach you that. Yeah, great trick to know. All right, so 9 times 9, we just did it. Bring down the 1, and we have 81. Oh dear, there goes my marker. Okay, so 9 squared is 81 plus 81 equals c squared. So I'm going to add them up. 81 plus 81 is 162 equals c squared. And now what do? I find the square root, and the square root of 162 is equal to 12.73. Okay. As a reminder, with your calculator, the square root is this button right here. Okay, so you go second square root 162, enter, and that will give you your answer. Okay, so definitely make sure that you are familiar with how to use your calculator. I really like this big one though, even though it doesn't actually work. All right, so we are going to do one that is now more closely related to what you will experience on your GED or your HiSET test, okay? So let's erase this, and I'm going to turn it into a word problem. But, I just have my screen here, so I'm not actually going to have a word problem written out. So we're going to make it up, okay? And I actually really like word problems because they give purpose. They give meaning to actual problems, okay? Instead of just, a bunch of triangles, let's figure out the side. Who cares what the side is, right? Let's make this personal. Let's make this real, okay? All right. So here we're going to call this Michelle's house, okay? And then we're going to say up here is the grocery store, and then down here is the school, okay? So I need to go to the grocery store, but first I have to stop by the school, okay? So we're going to say that the school is, I'm going to use one here. I'm going to say that the school is 9 miles from my house, and the grocery store is going to be 8 miles from the school, okay? So I need to figure out how far the grocery store is from my house. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be a haul, right? This grocery store is quite a ways away. Okay, so I first need to figure this out, and then we're gonna go into the word problem just a little bit more. Okay, so let's figure this out. So I have 8 squared plus 9 squared equals c squared. So 8 squared, 8 times 8 is what? Type it in the chat. Tell me. Oh, here it is. Okay. 8 and 8 dropped on the floor. Pick it up. Now it's 64. Okay. So 8 squared, 8 times 8 is 64 plus 9 squared, which we just did. Not 64, not 16, because that's 8 plus 8, right? We want to go 8 squared, so 8 times 8. 8 and 8 dropped on the floor. Pick it up. Now it's 64. Okay, so 64 plus 9 squared is 81 equals c squared. Okay, so 64 plus 81. So I've got my 5 and my 145 equals c squared. And now let's figure out what is c. So I'm going to take the square root. The square root of 145 equals c, and it ends up being, okay, this is not exact, but it's close. Okay, so it's pretty close to 12. And we're going to stick with 12 because I don't want us to have to deal with decimal points. Okay, so 12 equals c. All right, now, as I mentioned, you're not going to experience problems that are quite like this on the test because it's going to be a word problem. So what we have here is if Michelle needs to go to the grocery store, how much faster is it for Michelle to go from the grocery store to go from her house? Maybe I should call this house. I'll call this home instead of Michelle. So how fast is it for me to go from home to the grocery store versus home to school to the grocery store? So I'm going to erase all of this. And so let's go here. We have home to grocery is 12, right? And then we have home to school to the grocery. And so that ends up being 9 plus 8. So what is 9 plus 8? 17, right? So now we have to figure out what is the difference between home and grocery, the 12, and the home school grocery. So what is the difference between 17 and 12? Really, I should have this on top, but that's okay. So 17 minus 12 is 5 miles. So it's 5 miles faster to go from home to the grocery than it is to go from home to school to the grocery. Lucky for me, my grocery is like right on the way home. So mine is completely different than. Okay, I have a question here. Renata asked, is this going to be on my channel so you can watch it again later? Yes, it is. But when you go on to YouTube, because this is a live, if you go to the Purely Persistent web, or I guess page, you'll see a lot of the different videos that I have. It should show up there on the homepage, but just in case it doesn't, there's a little button that says videos and another little button that says lives. Okay. So this one is going to be on the lives. So you definitely want to make sure that you click where it says live. Okay, so friends, we have time for one more, and this can be anything. What do you want us to, what do you want us to do? Maybe a little math problem, something different than this. We're going to be done with our Pythagorean theorem, but we've got a couple more minutes. We could do a little grammar, we could do a little algebra, we could do positive, negative numbers. Type in the chat what you'd like the rest of our lesson, I guess you could call it the bonus lesson. What should it be? Type it in the chat. A math problem, a math problem with words. Okay. All right, let's see here. Coming up with a math problem on the spot with words. Okay. This is tricky for me. I can't come up with one right now. Okay, we have one that says algebra. Okay, I'm going to do algebra. Oh, and then the parallel. You guys have so many great examples. Thank you, thank you. Okay, we're going to do an algebra, and I'm going to turn it into words. Okay, so we'll go with the first two. So algebra here. I'm going to say. All right. So we're talking apples and bananas here. Okay, Michelle just went to the grocery, right? We just learned about that from our last problem. So Michelle went to the grocery and she has 5 grocery bags. And, fruit is on sale. And I'm going crazy because I know that fruit, there's a direct correlation between the amount of fruit and vegetables I eat and my happiness. I want to be happy, so I'm going to eat lots of fruits and vegetables. So here I have apples and bananas. Okay, so my A is apples, my B's are bananas. Okay, so what I want to do is I have 5 bags total, but I want to figure out how many apples and how many bananas am I buying. So this is a grocery bag, the 5 right here. And then this is what is the contents of the grocery bag. Okay, I know it's a silly example. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, so I have to follow my PEMDAS, okay? So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Our friends from Canada, anyone from Canada there? My Canadian friends, they like to tell us it's bed mass. And today in my morning class, we are going over this and they're like, Michelle, why are you telling us this? Why does it matter? And the reason it matters is the B is brackets. Brackets, parentheses. It's like the same, one of the really close on the keyboard, right? So brackets look like this and parentheses look like that. So very similar. But the reason I remind us BEDMAS or PEMDAS and BEDMAS is because notice here, this one says DM and this one says MD. The reason I want you to remember this is because it doesn't matter which one, or it does matter which one you do first. They're buddies. So whichever one is left, you do first. So if division comes first, do division first. If multiplication comes first, do multiplication. But those are buddies. So make sure you stick with them together, okay? Addition and subtraction are also buddies. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is our parentheses or our brackets. So we're going to add up these numbers together. So I have here 4A plus 4A plus B. And remember, we're talking apples and bananas because we wanted this to be a word problem, right? Okay, so 4 apples plus 2 apples. How many apples do we have? 6 apples. But we can't add the bananas to those apples, right? No bananas with these apples. Okay, and I'm going to rewrite it. And now, so I did my parentheses. Can't add any more in there. Do I have any exponents? No exponents. And now we do multiplication, division. Multiplication happens now, right? So we're going to go 5 times 6a. So what is 5 times 6? Type it in the chat. We're really working on our multiplication here, right? So 5 times 6a is 30A, right? And now we're going to go 5 times B is plus 5B. So how many apples and bananas does Michelle have? 30 apples and 5 bananas. So I know this was a little silly. We were adding apples and bananas. You wanted a word problem. You wanted algebra. That's the best that my brain could come up with this afternoon. But let's see here. Looks like Rosemina is going to be taking the math test in a couple of weeks. Rosina, I'm sharing all my knowledge with you, all my love to you. Good luck on that test. I'm so excited for you. Believe in yourself. I know you can do it, but you've got to make sure that you believe that you can do it as well, because if your brain believes you can do it, then you'll be much more likely to be successful. If you're doubting whether you can do it, you're just not going to do as well. All right, my friends, that is all that we're going to do today. Thank you for watching. I appreciate those of you that have stuck with us through this whole video. If you're just catching us at the end, you can watch the replay of the video. And my friends, have a beautiful day. I will be having a couple more videos, maybe like little short videos this week, and then we will do another live video next week. So definitely be sure to tune in. My friends, sending you all my best. Have a beautiful week, and I will catch you in my next video. Peace and God bless.